Hello, my name's Mike McConnell. I'm a conflict mediator, and this is a conversation about having conversations, coming to terms. The topic of today's conversation is the Aikido of conflict. Aikido is an ancient Japanese martial art, and it's the metaphor that I want to use for explaining how you can have a difficult conversation that neutralizes your opponent without doing any harm to them or you. No harm to their ego, to their self-esteem. Now, a more aggressive approach might work in court or with someone in a bar who you're never going to see again, but it doesn't work when the relationship matters in the long term. If it's the workplace, if it's your family, then it's important to be able to slow a person down when they've said something that you don't agree with in a way that does not refute them, does not push back against them. So the key notion about this Aikido approach is that you go with the opponent rather than pushing back against them. Let me use an example. I teach a course in family mediation, and I was doing a role-playing exercise with some students where I wanted to teach them how to use the Aikido approach. And so I asked male and female to come up to the front and to role-play a husband and wife in a highly escalated conflict. And the student playing the wife, playing the mother in this situation, was an excellent role-playing candidate when I asked her to present an escalating statement, informing the class that I would then try to mediate. The first thing that came out of her mouth was, "Our family would be better off if you were dead." Now, how would you respond if somebody said that? Wouldn't you push back against that? Wouldn't you say, that's not appropriate, you shouldn't say that, that's unfair, that's hurtful, which of course is all true. But it doesn't work. What I demonstrated instead was going with this person's point of view, assuming that they are not an idiot, they're not evil, they're just escalated, they're not speaking from their best self, let's put it that way. So instead of pushing back and correcting or reprimanding her, I said, "Really? Do you mean that? Or are you just using a figure of speech?" "Oh no," she said. She was right in the role. She said, "I mean it. We would be better off if he was dead." "Wow, that's a very powerful statement," I said. It must be very hurtful for you to feel that way. "Excuse me, sir," I turned to the person role-playing the husband in the situation. I said, please just bear with us for a minute and listen. And if you would please explain to me, ma'am, why do you feel that you would actually be better off with him dead?" "Well, he doesn't help out around the house, he's not a provider, he doesn't earn income, and he doesn't help with the chores." Well, those are serious reasons, I'm sure, for you to be upset, I said. But continuing to go with her rather than push back, I said, "Well, help me to explain how you imagine that this would be in the best interest of the children. How would they feel about this?" "Well, they'd get over it. Okay, so they wouldn't be upset?" Oh no, yeah. And at this point, of course, she's starting to realize that her statement was a little over the top, but she isn't ready to acknowledge it quite yet. So I drew her out some more. "Tell me how it would be for the children. Do they feel the same way about their father that you do about your husband?" "Oh, well, no, they do play computer games together, and they have a relationship with him." "All right, but you still feel that it would be better if he was gone. Is that what you're saying?" And at that point, she began to reframe her story and acknowledge that perhaps she had overstated it. I didn't correct her. I went with her. I allowed her natural intelligence, her natural balance and goodness to emerge, because I did not assume that that statement of wishing he was dead to actually be all of who she was. And within a matter of a couple of minutes, she had reached a point where she said, yeah, but it's just not fair. He doesn't pitch in. At that point, I said, well, now you're raising an issue that is quite different, and let's look into that. So what you're saying then, if I understand you correctly, is that you feel you're carrying all the weight of parenting responsibility, and your husband doesn't put in his share. Is that really what you're saying? Well, yes. Thank you very much. And I turned to him and said, now, I'm not asking you to agree or disagree with her claim, but please inform me, do you agree with her principle that in fact it would be best if both parents shared the responsibilities equally? And he answered, well, of course I do. Yes, absolutely. Great, I then said. You have now agreed on an important principle. And on that, we can now move forward with a common understanding. And the argument was de-escalated. Thanks very much. I hope that helps you to understand how a non-adversarial approach can help to de-escalate conflict. And I hope you tune in again. Have a great day.